when I burned everything to the ground and kind of call it coming back, getting my head on straight, trying to figure out what it is that I wanted. I was sitting around one day and just reading and it came to me. It just like popped into my brain, lions, not sheep. And I kind of thought about it and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it kept pounding in my brain and it just started kind of becoming me. It became like my mantra, my way of being, my way of life, which is like every single day I've got a choice to be a lion or a sheep. And in a very simplistic way, it's like, sheep do what they're told. They follow the masses. They'll go wherever anybody else goes. They'll run off a cliff if everybody else is running off a cliff, where a lion basically sits under a tree and he fucks when he wants. He eats when he wants. He does whatever the hell he wants. And, and a lot of people think, well, that's not real life. Well, it is real life, because you go to Africa and there's freaking lions that are doing that shit all day long, right? They don't give a damn about the sheep. They don't give a damn what anybody says. They kill and eat when they want. They do what they want. And I realized, like, I had lived most of my life as a sheep doing what I was told to do. And this is what's socially acceptable. And it was kind of like the new chapter for me. The new reality for me is living life on my terms, doing what I want when I want it, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of what anybody thinks, regardless of it's socially acceptable or not politically correct. Like, it's my game. It's my life. I'm going to do what the hell I want. And it's caught on. I mean, we have apparel and gear and coaching programs and stuff. And there's a lot of people around the world that have gravitated towards the message, because there's a lot of people that are, where I was, they're 30, 35, 40, 45 years old going, all right, man, like, is this it? Like, there's got to be more to this life than what I'm doing right now. And it's become a very, very powerful message.
By the way, just to reinforce what you said for our listeners, you said that term resonated with you and you kept thinking about it. And then all of a sudden that became your name. Then it became your brand, which is a very big brand now, by the way. It just proves that you can be and do whatever you want to do. Here's a line that you came up with and you turned it into a global brand. So for those listening, don't hesitate to think you don't have the next great idea, because you probably do if you apply yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to find out is if you do it. Like, I literally called one of my buddies who owns a t-shirt company. I was like, this sounds really cool. Like, I want to put this on a t-shirt, put lions, not sheep. And so I literally Googled fonts and I found a cool font that I liked and I sent it to him and, paid $20 to set up the screen. And he made me a t-shirt and said lions, not sheep on it. It was the original t-shirt. And somebody saw a picture of it on social media and was like, dude, that's badass. Where do I get it? And I'm like, I don't know. I just have one of them. I made it, So I called my buddy back. I was like, dude, I don't know anything about apparel, but somebody wants one of these t-shirts. How do I do this? And he's like, well, you got to set up. I said, I don't know any of that stuff, man. So he literally set me up in like 10 minutes, this insanely simple Shopify store.
Yeah.
And I had the domain, I bought the domain, and we set it up and we sold that one t-shirt. And I just, told people, hey, if you want the shirt, it's where it's at. Now it's turned into an entire clothing brand and movement. And my book is centered around it. And my coaching programs are centered around lions, not sheep. And we sold thousands and thousands and thousands of t-shirts, with this saying on it, because people resonate with it. But had I played small and thought, well, that's dumb, or it's cheesy, or it's whatever, then it never would have come to life. But again, just being in that space where I'm like, I'm going to do it because I want to do it. And it worked.
Well, I want to compliment you on your book and the way that you promote your business and the way that you live your life. After I met you over the phone, we were talking about off-road racing. I started following you, and you were just getting ready to launch your book. And your mission was to give away, I think, 1 million copies. And, just people had to pay for shipping or something like that. I don't remember the whole story, but it's the book's titled How to Make Shit Happen, right?
Right. Yeah, when I wanted to write a book for a while, and I contemplated writing about like divorce or my life or whatever. And I was having a conversation with one of my mentors, and he asked me a question, and it just, everything became crystal clear. He said, if you could only leave one, I told him, I said, dude, I want to write a book, but I can't, I don't know what to write about. And I started and stopped. He's like, if you could only leave one message with the world, what would it be? And instantly I knew what it was. Like, it was almost like everything flashed right in front of my eyes. I was like, I know exactly what I want to write about. And from that question until the book was done and approved and in Amazon was just under 2 months, which is like unheard of. But I wanted to do a free book, just a free plus shipping. People just pay for shipping, but Amazon doesn't do that because I published my book through Amazon. So they charge me $3.59 for the book, and that's what it costs on Amazon is $3.59.
Yeah.
And so people pay for shipping. But yeah, we're just over 300,000 copies in less than 2 years, which is there's guys with major publishing deals that haven't come close to that number. And we've done it purely organically. And it's been really, really, really humbling, the amount of people that have picked up the book and have read the book. And it's changed literally hundreds of thousands of lives. And it's, I wrote a book that I wanted to read, and it's really short. There's no filler. There's no fluff. There's no puff. It's a really, really, really powerful book.
I'm going to compliment you on it again because, well, I'm probably one of your better customers, by the way. You don't even know it. I have not yet, I have not yet written my book, but with my clients and people that I meet along the road, and when I'm spreading my gospel of just saying yes to opportunities, I like to give them a book. And between your book and David Meltzer's books, I give them away. I carry one of each in my backpack. Meet people on the plane or wherever, and if I'm compelled to give them the book.
That's awesome.
And matter of fact, I
really
just
cool.
ordered
Thank
some more.
For that.
No, listen, thank you, because what I love about your book, you mentioned some of these big authors like Napoleon Hill and all these greats, Think and Grow Rich. These are big books, lots to read in them. Yours is fucking simple. You could read your book in under an hour, but yet you can take away a lifetime of learning to getting out there and doing it. And you broke it down into, what do you call it? Core 4?
Core 4. Yeah.
I mean,
it was what I learned from one of my coaches. And it's just simple, man. Like, life was chaos for me, right? You'd get up in the morning. It was almost like, all right, here we go. And you like jump into the ring and it's just battle all day long with kids and family and business and all this other stuff. And I learned, the process and the system of Core 4 a number of years ago. And that's really what ultimately helped me kind of come back and build what I've got now, because it made sense. It was simple. It was clear. It was concise. And as a clear game plan when we have a race, there's always going to be a snafu here, there, or the other. But like, if you just go out there and we'll pit wherever we want to pit, it'll never work. It's just pure chaos, right? But when and you can execute with very, very finite details, one of the things I talk about in the book is how we eat the elephant. We have these big goals and these grandiose plans, but we try and solve the entire problem in one sitting at one time. And you can't ever fit the elephant in your mouth. So it's like, how do we hit big goals? How do we build big business? How do we build a deep and powerful relationship? It's with small daily actions, small little bites of the elephant every single day is, how we get there. So there's a lot of really cool nuggets and lessons that I learned that are what I do. I hate theory. People like that. Well, I heard this one time, you should try this. I'm like, have you done it? They're like, no. Well, then I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to know what works. I want to know what people have legitimately done, right? You see a fat trainer at the gym trying to tell you what to eat. I'm like, I don't give a shit about your opinion because it obviously isn't working for you. So take me to the ripped guy, and I want to know what he does. And so I feel like for me, burning my world to the ground, contemplating suicide, being in such a dark and depressed state, being able to kind of build back up and get to the place which I am, which call it successful, call it whatever you want. For me, it's successful. I feel really good. My life is good. I wanted to show people exactly how I did it without a bunch of theory, but it's like, this is exactly how I did this.
Sean, I love how raw you are with everything, especially in a society where everything is so fucking political and let's not offend and over the, we're all real people in our private conversations with our buddies and girlfriends and wives. We talk just the way you do, but publicly we all tend to mask who we really are. And I just love that you do not mask that. You are as raw as they come. And I respect that. I wish I could be more like that, but I'm still fearful of my business and who I might offend and political statements and all that bullshit. But thank you for being as raw as you are.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So listen, you've been working out lately. I'm going to have to ask you to stop because my wife follows you on Instagram. Her name's Samantha. So if her name pops up on your phone, please don't answer because she's like, look at Sean, man. He's fucking ripped. He's killing it. What's the deal with the workout program these days? I know you've been off and on in shape. It seems like you're kicking ass right now.
Yeah, I had spine surgery last December, so we're coming up on a year here, and I was in a really bad place. I mean, I was in a really toxic relationship. I had a bunch of things in my life that were kind of out of whack, and my body was just really screwed with this spine injury, and it wasn't one particular thing. It was just wear and tear, and I had a disc that had basically started to tear, and it was just I was in a ton of pain for almost 18 months. And I mean, that screws with your mind. You know, I go to the gym and everything hurts and you're in constant pain. And I didn't let on a lot of it. I tried to kind of put my big boy pants on and keep going and keep working out and trying to solve this thing. And finally I was just like, dude, this fucking sucks. And so I had to have major spine surgery. And right after it, I was like, man, this is just, I mean, your body is the biggest thing that we can change, right? You want to change your mentality, change your body. And so I just took on a challenge, and my good friend Andy Frisilla came up with this challenge called 75 Hard. And it was this 75-day, you know, no alcohol, drink a gallon of water, 2 workouts a day, you know, read a book, take pictures. And it was this, it wasn't crazy or it wasn't outlandish. It wasn't like, you know, balance dinner plates on your head and sing songs for 3 hours in a row. It was just like, just man up and fucking go, like go hard. And I took the challenge, and I transformed my body more in that 75 days than I ever had in my entire life. And I mean, I've had 5 MMA fights. I've done 2 Ironmans, 2 full Ironman races. And that was one of the most difficult things I think I ever did.
Wow.
I've ever done.
Wow.
Is that 75 hard. And the benefit is you get ripped, you know, you get absolutely freaking shredded, which I've never been in this good a shape in my entire freaking life. Again, because I had a lot of those stories. Both my parents were overweight, and you know, my genes were just fat, and so I was always strong and muscular, but I was never ripped. It was always kind of the dad bod, soft guy, but was still strong as shit. And for the first time, I got shredded, and I was like, oh shit, maybe that's a total freaking story in my head. Maybe I can walk around with a 6-pack and you know, be in really good shape. And so I took on the challenge, and it was the most difficult thing that I think I've ever done physically. But the other benefit, the bigger benefit, was the mental strength, because it was so difficult. And a lot of the stories that I had told in my mind and excuses that I had realized I had been telling for years and years and years, doing the program helped that significantly and changed my world. So yeah, man, it's been, I'm 40 years old. I turned 41 here in 2 weeks, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. And it feels amazing.
Well, and the also benefit of that is that you are probably a better father and in better shape to hang out with your kids and do all the things they want to do as well. Totally.
I didn't realize how I was never really in bad shape, but I look at pictures now and I was like, what the hell was I doing? What was I thinking? You know, I always went to the gym and I always lifted weights, but it was, oh, I'm tired today, I'll skip today or whatever. And you know, the 75 Hard Challenge, I make no money from being evangelical about it, but it literally changed my life. And being in shape and you know, this last year has been very difficult in a lot of ways, but it's been one of the most liberating years I've ever had. I've you know, been able to build some incredible relationships. My business is exploding with growth. My body's on point, and I definitely can contribute a vast majority of that to getting my body in check.
Well, by the way, Andy Frisella's no small fry out there either. If you're listening and you don't know, look up Andy and his whole world, as well as his product with First Form. I used to be on that product.
Absolutely.
At 51, I'm in the best shape of my life. So, Sean, you've got a lot to look forward to over the next 10 years. I wound up taking 3rd in the world for men over 50 in the Spartan obstacle course racing in Iceland back in December. So keep grinding away at what you're doing, bud.
That's badass. That's actually on my one of my lists. I've because of the spine thing, I've had to kind of, I don't want to say like play it small, but I've wanted to do some bigger challenges, and that's one of my things for Q1 that I want to do is do one of those Spartan beast races or whatever the big ones are. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let me tell you, there is a badass Spartan beast race in Montana in the month of May, and I'm coming back from shoulder surgery for that race. So if you're in, come. Nice. I know you're not too far away from Montana. I want to wrap this up with one final thing, and it's really what sparked this request of you to be on my show. I mean, I've had your number for a couple of years since we spoke about the race truck, and things happen for a reason and right time. And the message that I saw you put out on Instagram a couple days ago was raw. It was emotional. It was inspired by Andy and the loss of one of his friends committing suicide, and Andy also being very raw with his millions of followers and millions of dollars in the bank. And it's just, life is hard. And we can't forget that. And we have to be open and honest about that. And your message really resonated. Do you want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah, you know, it was